Good evening again, beautiful friends and beautiful soul wherever you are. Deeply apologize me for a little bit problem here in Ashram Avalokiteshvara. There are some technical problems here. Some of technical problems because there is raining here. Some of technical problem, but please deeply apologize me because I'm completely alone here. I'm arranging all the things completely alone, from sweeping the floor, turning on the light, preparing the camera, setting the audio system here, totally alone. Please deeply apologize me for the technical problems that appear. Now, no worry, we are going to continue sharing the light of transforming illness into wellness. No worry, no worry. The darker the night, the brighter the light. As I said to you very often, without hot sunshine, the flower will never bloom. Without problems, our soul will never bloom. Without blowing wind, the kite will never fly. Without difficulty, our soul will never learn to fly. Now we are going to discuss about transforming illness into wellness. Repeating the previous message, when you have no time to wellness, you will be visited by illness. When you have no time to wellness, you will be visited to illness. For that reason, now let's spend a little bit longer time deepening the idea of wellness. There are 3 chapters that I'm going to share to all of you. There are only 3 chapters. The first one is the spirit behind wellness. The spirit behind wellness. The first chapter is about the spirit. The second chapter is preparing the soil. The third and the last chapter is planting the tree of wellness. Let's start with the spirit behind wellness. What is the spirit behind wellness? Because I am a spiritual teacher. Thank you again Pak Koming and Pak Darmit in Jakarta. They reported that the voice and the picture are clear already. We are going to entering the first chapter of transforming illness into wellness. The first chapter is about the spirit. Since I'm a spiritual teacher, always begin sharing the light by the spirit behind the topic. Now we are going to discuss the spirit behind wellness. This morning, I shared to you the healing model of spiritual family of compassion. This is the healing and the peace model of a spiritual family of compassion. As I told you this morning, at the edge of the circle, and the picture is a crying eyes, is the place where the suffering soul grow. The suffering soul keep complaining, blaming, protesting. That's why they keep suffering. And at the edge of the circle This evening I will call it as the territory of illness. Here is the territory of illness. Why? Because from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, life keeps flowing from day to night, night into day. No matter you believe in religion or not, life keeps flowing. And at the edge of the circle, if you like, at the periphery of the circle, life is full of conflict and chaos because of protesting, blaming, conflicting. This is, I call it as the territory of illness, which is full of suffering. But at the center of the circle, this is the territory of illness. So the spirit of wellness that I'm going to share to you, learn to grow from the territory of illness, which is at the edge of the circle, to the center of the circle. If you need 3 words, accept, flow, smile. 3 words. If you need 2 words, silence and smile. If you need 1 word, the only word is rest. Rest. Rest the mind from any kind of inner conflict and inner critic. That is the first spirit about wellness. Leave behind the territory of illness, which is at the edge of the circle. Move into the center of the circle. 3 words, accept, flow, smile. 2 words, silence and smile. 1 word, rest. That is the first spirit of wellness. The second spirit of wellness, illness is a clear sign that someone growing far away from their natural calling. The more distance that you have to your natural calling, the more you will be visited by illness. But peace, health, happiness, and peace are a clear sign that you are growing very close to your natural calling. What I mean by natural calling is simple. The natural calling of frangipani is to grow in the dry land. The natural calling of lotus flowers to grow in the wet mud. The same thing happened to the suffering people. To those suffering people who grow from one suffering to another suffering, it is a clear sign that they grow far away from their natural calling. The suggestion then to all of you, learn to memorize your natural calling, which is hidden in the childhood. Remember your dream in childhood. Remember the toys that you love in childhood. Remember the people that you love in childhood. Remember the game that make you keep winning all the time. Like what I personally experienced when I was a small child. The only game that I keep winning from time to time when I was a small child, it is kite. Whenever I play kite, I never lose, I always win. That's why all of my friends come approaching me. What happened to your kite? You always win. The symbol is very clear. That is my natural calling. Kite is a symbol of being come from the sky. Will share the light here on earth. And the innermost core of the teaching is being balanced. That's why whenever I retired totally from the corporate world in the age of 49 and following the spiritual path, totally devoting my life to be a spiritual guru, spiritual master. You know, life flow very naturally. One door is open, another door is open, simply flowing naturally. Again, let me repeat once again. Illness is a symbol that someone grow far away from the natural calling. Wellness is a feedback. You begin to grow in your natural nature of calling. As simple as frangipani growing in the dry land, lotus flower grow in the wet pond. For that reason, to some of you who are now suffering, please make a note about this message. This is the innermost spirit about wellness. The innermost spirit about wellness. Learn not manifesting what you want, but manifesting who you are. Let me repeat once again, since this is extremely important. Learn not to manifest what you want. Learn to manifest who you are. Because when you manifest what you want, as a matter of time, you will become someone else in your body. You will become a stranger in your own body. You will become stranger within your body. That is the root of countless illness. For that reason, if you deeply suffer from 1 year to another year, please transform yourself. No longer manifesting what you want, but manifesting who you are. If you manifest what you want, meaning the most important energy behind you is your desire, which is very dangerous. If you manifest who you are, then the energy behind you is no longer desire, but your soul calling. In the moment when you begin to manifest who you are, not manifesting what you want, you will be able to understand this beautiful message. You can lose what you have, but you cannot lose who you are. The problem with suffering soul, they keep losing something, losing the money, losing job, losing position, losing reputation. Again, if you manifest not based on what you want, but manifesting who you are, you can lose what you have, but you cannot lose who you are. That is the innermost core spirit of wellness. Try to do inner shifting from manifesting what you want, that is the root of many illness, to manifesting who you are. The secret is hidden in the childhood, like my stories about playing kite, which never lose, always win. Learn deeply your natural calling, then learn to manifest who you are, not manifesting what you want. In the moment when you begin to manifest who you are, not manifesting what you want, you will deeply understand. Be happy, not because everything is good. Be happy because you are able to see the good in everything. That is wellness, beautiful souls and beautiful friends. That is wellness. In the moment when you no longer manifest based on what you want, but you manifest based on who you are happy not because everything is good. You are happy because you can see the good in everything. And one of the beautiful flower which is beautifully bloom within is gratitude. Gratitude. That is the most beautiful flower which is blossoming inside. In the moment when You no longer manifest based on what you want, but you begin manifesting who you are. The most beautiful flower which blossoming within is the flower of deep gratitude. If you learn the law of attraction in particular, in the law of attraction have been clearly said and concluded, gratitude is the door of countless miracles. Gratitude is the door of countless miracles. That is the first chapter about wellness. The key idea, learn to shift your path of growth from manifesting what you want to manifesting who you are. When you manifest based on what you want, you will become a stranger within your body, which is the root of many illness. When you manifest who you are, you will become yourself within your body. And that moment, you are happy not because everything is good. You are happy because you see the good behind everything. That is the spirit of wellness. Now we are entering the second chapter, preparing the soil. Preparing the soil. There is something to be prepared in order to plant the tree of wellness. The first one is managing your hope. If your hope is too high, then you will experience a lot of dissatisfaction. For that reason, in order to prepare the well-fertilized soil to the tree of wellness, first of all, manage your hope. Learn to make your hope closer to your reality. For example, your wife education is lower than your education. Try to lower your hope about your wife. Speak the language of your wife. Do not force your wife to be as high as you. The same thing happened with your job. Maybe previously you are a manager in a well-reputed hotel in Bali, for example. Now you lose your job because there is no tourists coming to Bali. Lower your hope. So the first part of preparing the soil is manage your hope, because if your hope is too high, then dissatisfaction will appear. If your hope is too low, then you will never go. The answer is manage your hope. Make your hope as closer as reality, especially in the challenging times like nowadays. In the challenging time, make your hope closer to the reality. But one day when your economic growth coming back, job opportunities are available everywhere, you can make your hope higher and higher, because higher hope will pull you into the higher level of life. In this cycle of time, in this challenging cycle of time, don't do that. Make your hope closer to reality. The second message in the chapter of preparing the soil, manage your emotion. Manage your emotion. If you learn psychology, that combining meditation and psychology, you know, emotion is energy in motion. Once again, emotion is energy and in motion. Energy in motion. As we all know, the material that make our body consists of contradicting material. Look at our body. Here there is fire and water contradicting. Here there is fluid like water and the hard material, conflicting component. You know, human body is made by conflicting material like fire and water. For that reason, no matter how deep you meditate, no matter how mature you are spiritually, there is always emotion inside. There is always emotion. Because emotion is energy in motion. To make the soil of wellness tree well fertilized inside, please, emotion is energy in motion. No matter what happens, no matter how deep you meditate, there is always emotion in motion. Energy in motion, excuse me. As I keep sharing to you in guided meditation, try not to be pulled by that energy in motion. You are not those energy in motion. You are the witness. Life is full of waves, growing up in the moment of success, going down in the moment of failure, going up in the moment of being praised, going down in the moment of being blamed. But remember, you are not those waves. You are the surfer. How to become the surfer? You are not the wave. You are the witness. That is how to manage your emotion, energy in motion. You are no longer the wave of emotion. Now you are a server, particularly by being the compassionate witness. The last part in preparing the soil, the last part is learning from positive psychology. Some of you who learn positive psychology, one of the journal who often quote the positive psychology is the Journal of Harvard Medical School. I'm their subscriber. Every week I receive the Journal of Harvard Medical School. The Journal of Harvard Medical School often quote the idea of positive psychology, and they keep sharing happiness of the flow. Happiness is not only available at the end of the journey. Happiness is also available along the journey. Happiness of the flow. So that's why one of the villagers here one day asked me the beautiful question. Pak Gede Brahma, what is the source of your happiness? I said to that villager, happiness is in the flow. When I'm sweeping the floor, I'm happy by sweeping the floor. When I'm mopping, I'm happy in the moment of mopping. When I share beautiful time with my beautiful wife, I'm happy sharing some ideas with my beautiful wife. The idea is happiness is not only the result at the end of the journey, happiness is also available in the flow. Do not wait until your children graduated from university, having wife and husband and being independent. No need to wait. Learn to be happy when your children are still young. Being happy when preparing their breakfast. Being happy when picking them up in the school. Don't wait until they are graduated from university. Don't wait. Remember, happiness is not only available at the end of the journey. Happiness also available in every present moment. That is the preparing the soil for wellness. Now we are entering the third and the last chapter about wellness, planting the tree. If you want to grow from illness into wellness, it is very important to grow from hard rock logic into water logic. If your mind is very strong, you are clever, reading a lot, you have a very high university degree, there is opportunity that you have a very hard rock logic. I am right, you are wrong. I am true, you are false. I am clever, you are stupid. That is some kind of hard rock logic. If you have hard rock logic, it will be very difficult to plant the tree of wellness. The logic that I am suggesting to you now, which is the first part of planting the tree of wellness, is water logic. You can imagine if rock meeting another rock, there will be a lot of conflict. But one glass of water meeting another glass of water, there will be no conflict. In the hard rock logic, the question is which one is right or wrong. I am right, you are wrong. Hard rock logic. But in the water logic, the question is not which one is right or wrong. The question is not which one is right or wrong. The question is what is the intersection between my ideas and your ideas. The most important reason why I have far less conflict with my wife here in ashram, because I keep asking, not I'm right, then my wife wrong. No. I keep asking to myself, what is the intersection between my ideas with the ideas of my wife? That is water logic. It will be easier to plant the tree of wellness if you have water logic, which is very flexible. If you learn philosophy especially, maybe you read this story quite often. We are all like three blind men who meet elephant. The blind man who hold the trunk, they will say, this is snake. The blind man who hold the leg of the elephant, they will think that this is a tree. The blind man who hold the body of elephant, they will conclude that this is the wall. If you asking the question which one is right, then the answer is totally wrong. The question is not which blind man which is right. The question is what kind of animal in certain part is like snake, in another part is like the tree, in another part is like the wall. Combine the three, then there is the possibility that the answer is elephant. That is water logic, you know. Learn to grow from water logic, from hard rock logic into water logic. The second story that I'm going to share to you in planting the tree of wellness, bring the tongue back to the natural calling. You know, the natural natures of our tongue is very soft. Use our tongue to speak only soft words, because if you speak only soft words, there will be less attack from the others. On the contrary, if you use your tongue in a very soft way, you will invite much more friends rather than enemy. The third part, which is the most beautiful part in planting the tree of wellness, the third part, which is the most beautiful part. Look deeper into the word illness and wellness. The word illness starts from I. The word wellness starts from we. The key message of this evening, what I mean by transforming illness into wellness. Keep training your mind, especially from I mean ego, into we. We mean service, connection, not only connecting to your family, but connecting to Mother Nature. Let me repeat once again, since this is very important, what I mean by transforming illness into wellness. Learn to grow from I, which is the ego, into we. In the level of I, the center of your happiness is yourself. In the level of we, the center of happiness is our own happiness. From I to we. I spent one of my beautiful years in small town in the northern part of England, Lancaster. I got my postgraduate degree from Lancaster University at the beginning of 90s. One of my favorite subject at that time is psycholinguistics. At that time, I did not learn about neuroscience at that time. Neuroscience, the science of the brain. In England, I learned from psycholinguistics. The words that you speak is the home that you live. The words that you speak is the home that you live. Meaning, the word that you keep speaking from day to day, month to month, year to year, it can become your own daily life reality. For example, to some people who keep speaking bad luck, failure. As a matter of time, they will have bad and life which is full of failure. Why? Because when you speak certain words like bad luck and failure, you do not only speak to someone else outside, you also speak to your own brain. When you speak negatively, like failure, bad luck, our brain sending negative message to every organ of the body by producing hell hormone like cortisol. As a result, the immune system, digesting system, and another system in our body can be totally collapsed. On the contrary, if you speak only positive words, I am enough, I am happy, I am deeply gratitude, that message is not only the message that you share to someone else outside, but also the message that you share to your own brain. As a result, the brain will produce growth hormone, no longer hell hormone like cortisol, but growth hormone from oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. As a result, your immune system getting stronger, better, your digesting system and another system in your body become better. For that reason, this is the key idea about transforming illness into wellness. Be careful when you speak, because the words that you speak can become the home you live. When you use the word I very often, brain will translate it by building the wall. I speak to you. There is the wall between I and the others. When you speak using the word I very often, as a matter of time, the brain will make a wall which separating you and the others. Like now, if I say to you that I speak to you, There is a wall between I and you. But if I speak, we are learning together. The word we make the brain producing a bridge that connecting between me and you. The difference is very fundamental. The word I make the brain create a wall that separating you and the others. The word we make the brain producing the bridge that connecting you to the others. That is the most important message this evening about transforming illness into wellness. Since the word illness start from I, will wellness start from we? Transform your life from I into we. Do not use the word I very often, because the word I make the brain producing wall that separating you and the others. Learn to use the word we as often as possible, because the word we make the brain producing bridge that connecting you with the others. Remember the message of psycholinguistics. The words that you speak is the home that you live. The words that you speak is the home that you live. Please keep in the heart. Use less the word of I, because illness begins with the word I. Learn to use more the word we, because wellness begins with the word we. That's a beautiful message. Some of you who learn inner conversation in the field of psychology especially, the only person who know ourselves very deep is ourselves. And the way we train our inner part of the self is inner conversation. What happened with countless suffering souls? The inner conversations, I am the victim. I am good, the others is bad. I was harmed, the others is harming me. That is the inner conversations about suffering soul. But growing soul, shining soul, smiling soul is different. The inner conversation is no longer I am the victim. We grow together. Yeah, our religions might be different, but we are all the same. We all want to be happy. We all do not want to suffer. Our nationality might be different, but we are all the same. We all do not want to suffer. We all want to be happy. Remember, we no longer using the word I, but we. As conclusion, the words that you speak is the home that you live. Use less the word I. Learn to use the word of we as often as possible. That is the conclusions about transforming illness into wellness. Transform your life from I into we. Because in the moment you use the word I, the brain creates a wall that's supporting you with the others. In the moment when you use the word we, the brain creates bridge that connecting you to the others. That is the most important message of this evening about transforming illness into wellness. Now there is bonus. This morning I gave you two bonus. The first one about the circle of healing that we developed in spiritual family of compassion. The second one about spiritual journey. The picture come from the people of Zen in Japan. Now the third bonus, especially to help close friends who experience a lot of illness. I want to share you another topic this evening as a bonus. That The topic is maximizing the placebo effect. Some of medical doctors, not only some, all medical doctors know the healing, the placebo effect. People are healed not because of consuming a chemical medicine, no. People are healed because of their own belief. It happened from tens or maybe more than 10 years ago. Some problematic body, medical doctor failed to diagnose what kind of disease that they have. Then they just, the medical doctor just giving the placebo pill. There is no chemical medicine inside. There is only some part of sugar. But they are healed not because of the pill, but they are healed because of their own belief. To help some friends to heal your own illness, now I give you the bonus, maximizing the placebo effect. The first message about maximizing the placebo effect, please remember this message is very fundamental. The human brain cannot distinguish between reality and the reality which is produced by the mind. Please remember, this is the research of neuroscientists. The human brain cannot distinguish between reality and reality which is produced by the mind. Let me explain this message by using example. Suppose that a certain laboratorium give you into conclusion that you get a cancer, that the part of yourself which make your health getting worse and worse, it is not the cancer cell, but the mind which is in hurriedly make conclusion that you will die. For that reason, be careful when some medical doctor or some laboratorium concluding that you have a cancer. For your information, human body is the most complicated machine here on earth. Human body is the most complicated machine. It cannot be understood by using medical science only. It cannot be understood by psychology only. It cannot be understood by spirituality only. Because human body is a very complicated machine, even the most complicated machine here on earth. My message to you very simple. Whenever there is conclusion that you have a cancer inside, that is only from medical point of view. And medical point of view is not the only point of view. There is psychological point of view, there is spiritual point of view. After that, remember, awaken your inner belief that you have all the ability to heal yourself. One of the Harvard research make conclusion in Harvard Medical Journal. One day there are two group of older people, the age is above 60. The first group is being stimulated by some picture, some video, and to let them think from one morning to another morning how to grow younger and longer. The first group watching video, reading journal is how to live younger and longer in 1 week. The second group reading the ordinary journal and watching the ordinary movie. You know, after 1 week, whatever, the first group of old people, the immune system getting better, the quality of the sleep is getting better, and all indicator of health is better. What is the difference? The difference is within your own belief. So that's why I read in one of the important journal. There are another university who deeply study about the placebo effect. The conclusion is very important. Those optimist people tend to have stronger placebo effect rather than those pessimistic people. Please keep in the heart, this is a well-known research in the field of placebo. Someone who is optimistic inside tend to have stronger placebo effect inside rather than those who are pessimists. If you have illness now, please don't be pessimistic. The conclusions of medical doctor, the conclusions of laboratorium tests, that is only the medical point of view, not the only point of view. You still have the psychological point of view. You still have the spiritual point of view and another point of view. Please develop the inner optimism, develop the inner faith, develop the belief that you can heal yourself. One of the famous story in the West is the story of Norman Cousin. Thanks God I remember the name. Usually I forgot the name, but this evening the blessing is very beautiful. I remember the name, Norman Cousin. One day the old man Norman Cousin was diagnosed of having a very complicated disease inside, and many medical doctors simply give up. I have no medicines at all. And Norman Cousin renting a small room in the hotel for 3 months. Morning, day, evening, night. Norman Cousin just watching, the movie that make him laugh and smile. Morning smile, day laugh, evening smile, night. A funny movie. Yeah, all the day and night, Norman Cousin just watching a funny movie. Laughter, and laughter. You know, after 3 months, Norman Cousin was totally healed. That is the placebo effect. I have also one of my close students in Bali, especially. I don't want to mention the name. At the beginning, he was diagnosed by a very dangerous cancer. You know, the color of the skin is very dark. Now he is completely healed because of laughter, and laughter. In short, what I mean by maximizing the placebo effect this evening, learn to be optimistic. The conclusions of certain doctor, the conclusions of certain laboratorium tests, which concluded that you have a cancer. That is not the only point of view. That is only one point of view. But you have another point of view which will be able to heal yourself. It is the optimistic point of view. It has been widely published in medical journal. The conclusion is very clear. That is the most important part of maximizing the placebo effect. Those people who have optimism inside tend to have stronger placebo effect than those who have no optimism inside. Be optimistic. You are your own best healer. Remember, you are the best healer. Thank you, beautiful friend, wherever you are. Thank you, you are patient enough waiting for me. We have been spending time together more than 1 hour, and deeply apologize me for the technical problem in the middle. But anyway, so far everything is okay. From the depth of my heart, thank you very much beautiful friend, beautiful soul, wherever you are. Thank you very much. Hopefully, the light that flowing through me this evening can dispel some of your inner darkness. Thank you, beautiful friend and beautiful soul, wherever you are.